So we're going to start in a nice semi-supine position. So I quite like having a blanket underneath. It gives a little bit of extra warmth and padding. Let me just bring that so it's more visible. There we go. Okay. And then you may or may not want to have a little bit of a cushion or folded blanket for your head. Depends if it's comfortable to be lying fully on your back with the head on the floor. Good. So just taking a moment to settle here. Take a nice deep breath in. And release. And then just letting the breath settle into a nice, comfortable rhythm. Just checking your alignment on the mat. So you want a nice straight line from the crown of the head to the tailbone. And feeling the weight of the body being supported by the ground. So feeling that connection with your head, your back, your feet, your arms. Feeling fully supported. Just let the arms rest alongside the body with the palms down. And allowing the breath to gradually get a little bit deeper, a little bit longer. Just allowing the breath to be however it needs to be. Letting go of any tension that might be getting in the way of your breath. And then from here, on your exhale, gently turn the head to look over your right shoulder, releasing the neck. Breathe in, come back to the center. And exhale over to the left. Good. And then breathe in, come back to the center. Feeling that lovely alignment of your neck. Good. And then from here, going to start to bring some movement to the arms. So as you inhale, we're lifting the right arm up and overhead as far as you feel comfortable. And exhale, come back down by your side. So have the movement coordinate with your breath. And just exploring what feels okay for your shoulders. There might be a difference between your left and your right. And just moving with the breath. So having that nice coordination of the breath with your movement. And you might find now that we've done a few that the arm can comfortably move a little bit further. Just exploring our shoulders. So next time you've done your left arm, we'll finish that practice. Just let the arms relax for a moment. Notice how your shoulders feel. So let the back settle into the mat. And then we're breathing in. Take both arms until they're vertical. So they're facing, your fingers pointing up to the ceiling. Keep your hands shoulder width apart. And then from here, we're going to reach up with your right fingertips as though you're trying to touch the ceiling. So that shoulder comes off the floor. And then coming back down. Let's inhale, lift up with the left. And coming back down. So again, moving in time with the breath. So we're having the mind, the breath, and the body all in the same place. Just noticing how that's feeling for your shoulders, for your upper back. And letting both shoulders settle down onto the mat. And then from here, going to breathe in, squeeze the hands, exhale, release. So this is a really nice movement to do to help the lymph flow. So we've got gravity to help as well. And then just have the hands nice and loose and relaxed, and we'll circle the wrists. Slowly taking the hands down towards your ears. And then we're going to tuck the fingers round the back of the neck and your elbows point up towards the ceiling. Good. So just taking a moment to make sure your head and shoulders are comfortable. And then from here, as you breathe in, we open the elbows out to the side, just feeling how far is okay to go. And then exhale, coming back up, take the elbows towards each other. So inhaling, opening, exhaling, bringing the elbows towards each other. And we can really use our inhale to help open the chest and the armpits. Again, just moving slowly and mindfully. So just feeling where the edge of your movement is. Good. The next time we'll open the elbows, keep them there if that feels okay, and take a couple of deep breaths. Lovely. And then slowly release the hands. We're going to bring the knees over the chest and just rocking, rolling, moving in whatever way is comfortable for you. A little bit like a back massage, just starting to get a bit of movement in the hips. Good. Coming back to the center. So keeping your knees and ankles together, we're going to bring the feet back down to the floor. Let the hands rest on your belly. And then in a very similar way to how we did with the arms, we're going to open and close the legs. So as we breathe in, let the knees open out to the sides and we'll roll to the edge of the feet. And exhale, coming back together. So inhaling, opening, exhaling, closing. And we're controlling the movement in both directions. So we're consciously lowering the legs, not just letting them drop towards the floor. So we're using our muscles in both directions, coordinating with the breath. And maybe this time feeling the breath a little bit more in the belly. So as we breathe in, imagine the breath coming into the hips, helping them release. Exhale back together. Good. Coming back together, leaving the legs together. And we'll just do a very subtle practice, just to help engage the pelvic floor. So from here, without moving the back or the legs, on our exhale, we're just going to squeeze the knees together and gently engage the pelvic floor and gently draw the belly back towards the spine. Let that all relax as you breathe in. Feel the belly expand slightly. Exhaling, little squeeze and draw to the center. Relax as you breathe. So starting to engage our core and our pelvic floor. Good. And last one. Lovely. So let's bring the knees back over the chest. And this time we want one hand on each kneecap. Good. And then from here, again, using our core a little bit, as we breathe out, we're going to start to draw the knees towards the chest. And see if you can do some of that without your hands. And then we can use the hands for that last little hug in. As we breathe in, let the knees come back until the thighs are pretty much vertical. Exhale, start to draw the legs in. And then use the hands for that last little bit. So again, we're just starting to get a little bit of engagement, activation of the core. It's nothing too strenuous. And trying to keep the spine as stable as possible as we move, so we don't have a big arch and flattening of the spine. Try to keep that completely neutral. That might be a little bit more challenging. Great. Lovely. And then keep hold of the knees, really let your thighs and belly relax. So just have a little rock from side to side, or whatever feels nice for you. Nice. Come back to the center. We're going to keep hold of the right leg. Take the left foot to the floor, wherever it's comfortable. And take the hands around the back of your right thigh. And from here, moving with the breath, we're going to exhale, take the heel towards the ceiling. Inhale, bending the knee back down. So there's a lot of different things going on here. The leg doesn't have to be straight. So obviously there's a little bit of lengthening in the hamstrings. But we're also strengthening the leg and the muscles that support the knee. So as the leg's coming up, you're feeling the thigh engaging. You can also be engaging our core and pelvic floor. And this action, again, is a nice kind of pumping action that helps support the lymph flow through the lower body. So again, we've got gravity helping as well. Let's keep this leg up now. Whatever's comfortable for you, have the knee bent if that's more useful. And then just circle the ankle. So waking up the feet. And back in the opposite direction. Lovely. Good. And give the toes a really good wiggle. Spread them out as wide as you can. Take a breath in. And then exhaling, bringing the leg back down. We'll straighten both legs out along the mat and give them a little shake out. And just resting here for a couple of breaths. Just really let your leg muscles relax. And just noticing the effect of that practice. You might feel that your right leg is a little bit longer. That's quite normal. Okay. Yeah, so just checking that the spine is nicely aligned. We're going to come on to the other side now. So bring your right foot onto the mat and we'll bring the left knee towards you so you can hold around the back of the thigh. So just checking that the shoulders stay relaxed, that the back is relaxed. And the arms are here for a little bit of support. We want most of the work to be in the leg and in our core, and that we're not pulling hard on the shoulders. So exhaling, taking the heel up, keeping the shoulders relaxed. Inhale, hugging in. Exhaling. So moving in time with your own breath. And trying to keep the spine as neutral as possible. And then this time we'll keep the leg lifted. And circle your ankle. Nice. So nice big slow circles. And back in the opposite direction. Good. And then giving the toes a good wriggle. Stretch them out wide. Take a nice deep breath in and then exhaling, bringing the leg back down. Again, let's stretch out both legs along the floor. And then let them completely relax. Give them a little shake out if you need. Good. And then from here, in your own time, you're going to gently roll onto one side and come over onto a hands and knees position. So take as long as you need. And again, you might want to have some padding under your knees. You might want a little bit of support for your wrists. I'm just going to minimize my blanket a little bit. Good. So just coming into nicely aligned hands and knees position. If your wrists are sensitive, taking the hands a little bit forward might just ease the pressure a little bit. You might want to have a little bit of support from a blanket for them, or you might want to come up onto your knuckles so that the wrist isn't bent at all. So finding a version that works for you. Also checking that your knees are comfortable. And then working the shins towards the floor as far as you comfortably can. And from here, coming into a little bit of free movement. So we're just circling the upper body. You can have that as big or as small as you like. And then letting it be as wriggly as you like. If you feel there's something you need to stretch out. So just really feeling into your body. Let's change direction. What do you need right now? And coming back to the center with a nice long spine. Good. So let's from here come into a nice simple back and forth movement. If you want to be mindful about any pressure on the front of the body, you can take your knees wide. If you're happy with them hip distance, leave them there. And so it's just very simply as we exhale, we're going to start to take the hips down towards the heels and inhaling, coming back up. So again, following your breath. And so we're just moving in one direction until it feels like it's far enough, and then coming back. Right. If it's possible to keep the arms straight, that will help open up in the armpits and the shoulders. But obviously find what works for you. So it's a nice feeling of stretch and nothing painful. Good. Lovely. So let's come back up. And we're going to add some spinal movement now and come into what I call a swooping cat. Okay. So from here, let's take a nice deep breath in. And as we exhale, we're going to tuck the tail down, rounding the spine. And we keep that rounding as we come down towards the heels. And then from here, keeping the head quite low, we're going to scoot forward as we breathe in, lifting the head and the chest into our upward cat. So we've got a little bit of a back bend. So we're exhaling round and down and inhaling forward and up. And if it's a tiring day and you want a soft version, you can make small circles so you can round, come down a little, scoot forward, coming up. So we can work in a really subtle way and just really feel that nice flow through the spine. If you've got a lot of energy and you want to strengthen your arms, then we can make this a bigger version. Scooping low, keeping the elbows off and pushing through the hands. So you can vary this from day to day, depending on how your body's feeling and what feels useful. Let's come through one more time. Lovely. And let's take a little rest in this position. So from here, we're going to keep the hips high, so not a full child's pose. Come on to your elbows and let the head rest. And if the head's not comfortable on the floor, you can take the hands underneath your forehead. You might want a blanket or a block. Just finding what feels comfortable for you. Taking some lovely deep breaths. Let the whole body relax. Lovely, one more breath. And then coming back up. Lovely. So again, just establishing our nicely aligned hands and knees position. And then this time we're going to open out the feet a bit and a little bit of gentle strengthening. So we're going to straighten out your right leg and keep your toes tucked under on the ground. Level off the hips as much as you can. And we're going to imagine these toes are super glued down. So as you exhale, going to ease back into the heel, feel that calf stretch. As you breathe in, we come forward and get that nice bend in the toes. So we're stretching out the foot and the ankle. This is something that you could do on your elbows with the forearms on the ground if you want to give your wrist a rest, or as another option. Good. Let's do one more. And then coming back down onto hands and knees. Let's give the wrists a little circle. However you want to ease out your hands. Good. And then again, nicely into our hands and knees. Remember the neck is part of your spine, so keep that nice and long. And then let's straighten out the left leg, toes tuck under. Good. Exhale into the heel. Inhale forward. Exhale back. Good. Nice. Again, just opening out the lower leg. A bit of flexibility in our feet, which we're going to need for walking and standing. Good. And then come back down onto both knees. And we'll just let the hips have a little swing from side to side. Good. Okay. So let's from here, on an exhale, take your right foot forward. Use your hand to help if you need. Good. Nice. And once you've found your foot in a comfortable place, we're going to press down with that foot so the effort's through the legs, and we can be quite soft on our fingertips. Again, if you would rather have some blocks and be sitting up a little bit higher, absolutely use what you need. And from here, we're just doing a few little hip circles. Can be as big or as small as you like. Just easing out the hips. Nice. Come back so that your knee is over your ankle. Make sure that your back knee is comfortable, and we're pressing the front foot down so we can lift the body up. Good. So coming into a low lunge. Good. So let's bring the hands together. Ideally, shoulders over the hips so we can share the weight between both legs. Good. So just checking you feel okay with your balance. If it's a little bit wobbly, then just take the foot out to the side a little more. And then from here, we're coming into a moon salute. So as you breathe in, we're taking the hands up as far as is comfortable, and then drawing our nice full moon. Good. So 2 more, inhaling up, exhaling round. Good. Last one. Good. Inhaling both hands forward. And then the left arm's going to start to open out to the side. If you feel steady, you can turn your head to look at your hand. Inhale, come back to the front. And then the right arm opens. Again, you can move the head if it feels steady, or keep focusing forwards. Come back together. Fingertips overhead, soften your elbows. And we're going to make a crescent moon shape. So letting the right arm come down, making a crescent moon as we lean over to the right. Inhaling up and to the left. Inhaling up. Good. Taking the hands back down. And then one hand on your knee, one hand on the floor. When you feel steady, bring yourself back onto both knees. Going to come down onto elbows and just let your hips have a little swing from side to side. Let your thigh muscles release. Lovely. Good. And then let's come on to the other side. So nice and slow, step by step. We'll come back to hands and knees. So we've got nicely aligned starting position. And then we'll take the left foot forward. Then using your hand to help if you need. Pressing that foot down so we can come onto soft fingertips. So we take the weight through the foot and the back leg, and the hands quite soft. And then some little circles. And come back to the center. Just check your knees over your ankle to start with. You're going to spread the toes, press that foot down, and then either using hands for support or coming straight up will bring your upper body upright. So again, thinking about the shoulders being over the hips, the crown of the head over your tailbone, and taking the hands together. Good, let your shoulders relax. Nice, so let's come into our moon salute. So 3 full moons, inhaling up, exhaling round. Good, inhale both of the hands forward. And this time it's the right arm first. We'll open all the way round. And come back to the center. And then the left. And back to the center. Floating the arms overhead, no soft elbows. Good. Shoulders relaxed. As you exhale, we'll take the left arm down, so we make a crescent moon to the left. Inhaling up to the right. Inhaling up. And then taking the hands down. Taking one hand onto your knee, take the right hand down, and then back onto both knees. And from here, come into whatever version of child's pose you find comfortable. So you can have knees wide or together. You could even have a cushion to hug onto. So whatever you find is most comfortable and relaxing. Let's have a nice rest. So letting all the muscles of the body release, taking some deep breaths. Lovely. Good. One more deep breath. We're going to very slowly make our way up to standing. So first thing is just to come back to hands and knees. And whilst we're close to the floor, if you have got a blanket or cushions on your mat, then that can just be an opportunity to pop it to one side. Good. And then one nice way to come up is to tuck the toes under and walk the hands back as we lift the knees until your feet are down. And then we're using the legs to come up to standing. So just encouraging people to use the leg strength rather than using the back, so we're not stressing the back when we come up to standing. Okay, lovely. So from here, coming into your nice Tadasana. So we've got our feet hip distance apart, facing forwards. Good. And just lift and spread the toes, bring them back down. And just feeling where the weight is on the soles of the feet. So having that nicely balanced between your toes and your heels, between your left foot and your right foot. Feeling the shoulders over the hips and the head balanced on the neck. Let go of the jaw. And just relax your eyebrows. Good. So from here, we're taking the hands onto the hips We're going to lift the right ankle and come back down, and then the left. So just alternating. And if that's feeling comfortable, we can make it a little bit more dynamic, just treading heel to heel. Good. And then let's come back down. And now we're going to have a go at coming on to full tiptoes. So the trick here is to really focus on the big toe. Want to keep the weight pressing through the big toe and keep your ankle in line with the rest of the leg. So as we breathe in, we slowly come up. As we exhale, we slowly come down. Good. So it's a nice way to start practicing some balance on 2 feet. And we're just building up some strength in the feet and ankles, which is a really good foundation for all standing. And if balance is a real challenge, then obviously you can hold a piece of furniture, put your fingertips on the wall, just for that little bit of extra support. Lovely. Let's see how it feels to add in some arm movement. So we're going to inhale, let the arms float out and as high as you're comfy. Exhaling, coming down. So some people find this easier than hands on hips, and some people find it harder. I think balance is quite an individual thing. And let's do one more. Lovely. Good. Bringing the hands back onto the hips. We're going to soften the knees and just do some nice hip circles. Good. And back in the opposite direction. Back to the center. Good. So taking the weight into the left leg and see if we can circle the right ankle. And come back down. Just realigning, leaning onto the right foot and circling the left. Good. And coming back down. Lovely. So we're going to have a go at tree pose next. So let's bring the feet together. If you can have your big toes touching, that's great. Nice. So we're just getting that center line, bringing the hands together. And again, feeling that alignment and balance on 2 feet. And if it's not comfortable resting your hands in contact with the chest, you can just hold it a little bit in front. Good. So we're going to start by standing on the right leg. So just take your awareness into that right leg, the right foot. And we're consciously pressing the right foot into the floor. Imagine you're trying to leave like a deep imprint of your foot in the mat. So pushing down, we feel this thighs engaged, feeling the head lengthening up to the ceiling. And then turning the left knee out to the side so that your heel can rest against your ankle, toes are still on the floor. Good. And then from here, as we keep pressing that right leg down and taking more weight to that side, you might feel that the toes can start to float up. So maybe just trying that. If it feels steady with the toes off the floor, then just find somewhere comfortable to rest your foot. So that might be on the calf muscle. You might be more comfortable with it on the shin if this hip is uncomfortable. You might prefer to bring your foot more onto your inner thigh, just wherever it's comfortable for you. Find a point for your eyes to focus on. And this will really help to keep the body steady. And then relax the face, have a little smile, release the jaw. Good. We're going to inhale, let the arms start to come up as high as you're comfortable. And then open out the arms. So we're spreading out our branches, spread your fingers. Woo, wobbly day. Good, take one more breath. And then just have a gentle shake out as we step down. Give the legs a little shake out. Good. And then we'll come back to our legs together. Bring the hands together and just take a pause here. And just notice if there's a difference between your left and right side of the body. So notice how you're feeling. Check in with your breath. Have you still got that lovely full breath we had at the beginning? Lovely. So now thinking about our left leg. So just lift and spread the toes of your left foot and then press the whole foot into the mat. So really pushing that leg down. So this leg is now our tree trunk. You could imagine roots growing into the ground. We're going to let that right knee turn out so we can rest the heel against the ankle. So as we're thinking about the leg being strong and driving down, the upper body's floating up towards the sky, keeping the shoulders and the jaw relaxed. And then just see if these toes can comfortably come off the mat. And you might find your balance is different this side, that's quite common. And if you're comfortable with the feet or the one foot off the floor, I'd be impressed if it was both. And then letting that rest somewhere comfortable. Good. So again, just finding that comfortable, soft gaze on a fixed point, letting the whole face be relaxed. Bring your awareness to your breath. A smooth, steady, easy breath. And then gently taking the arms up as high as you're comfortable. Open out our branches, spread your fingers. Good. Take one more breath here. And then gently shaking out, stepping down. Give the legs a little shake out. Lovely. Okay, so we're going to take the legs wide next. So you might need to turn on your mat. So coming to a comfortable width. We're aiming for your own leg length apart, but obviously find the level where it feels nice and broad and open, but it's comfortable. Okay. Again, taking the hands onto the hips and keeping your legs straight this time. We're going to do some more hip circles, nice and slow. Really start to release around the hips, the inner thighs. Just exploring that movement and seeing if we can free up the pelvis a little bit here. Good. Let's go in the opposite direction. And coming back to the center. Lovely. So from here, we're turning the right foot out. And we're going to work our way towards triangle. So again, spread the toes. We're pressing the feet down so we feel really nice and grounded. Keeping the collarbones nice and long. And we're going to let that right arm float out to the side. And from here, as you exhale, We're just reaching and lengthening out to the side, inhaling back up. Good. Again, feeling that movement in the hips as we lengthen out to the side and back up. Good. Lovely. So this time we're going to lengthen out to the side and then let your hand relax on your leg. Good. And then we're thinking about the chest and whether we can open that a little bit more, maybe get a little bit of rotation with the ribs. And then from here, let's bring the fingertips onto the shoulder. And we're going to slowly start to circle. See how the shoulder's feeling today. Good. Nice. And then from here, we can explore how it feels to maybe just start to wind the arm up towards the ceiling. And maybe reach out to the ceiling. If that's feeling not great for your shoulder, you might be more comfortable with the hand resting back down, or it might work better for you and you might get more openness if you keep the hand on the hip. So see which version works for you. Good. So we're looking for that strength in the legs, got length in the spine and open in the chest. Good. Taking one more breath. And then we're going to soften this knee, slowly come all the way up, facing forwards. Let's have a little shake out, little wriggle, just whatever you feel you need. Our body's usually quite good at telling us. Lovely. Okay, so just checking our feet are still nicely lined up. Got shoulders above the hips, we've got our head balanced. Good. And just taking a moment to notice how the body's feeling. Particularly, you might notice a difference between your left and right shoulders or hips. Take a couple of deep breaths. And then let's try the other side. So we're going to turn your left foot out. Right hand on your hip, and again floating the arm out to the side. Good. Let the shoulder release. Good. And then exhaling, we're reaching out to the side, feeling that movement in the hips. Inhaling, coming back up. Good. Nice. So this time, let's hold that extension and just let the arm relax down. So the legs are strong here. The hand is resting, but we're not leaning the weight of the upper body on the leg. So it's building some strength in the legs. Again, thinking about the rib cage. Is it possible to get a little bit of turn so we open up the chest to the front? How's your breath? Can we still take nice deep breaths? If the breath starts to get difficult, then just come up a little bit till you can get that lovely breath. Nice. And check that your neck is comfortable. You know, it might be more comfortable to look down at your big toe rather than towards the ceiling. So see what works better for you. Let's take the fingers onto the shoulder and just start to circle the elbow. See how this shoulder's feeling. Good. And then you might, again, want to explore if it feels okay to start winding the arm up towards the ceiling with the length there. Good. Might be more comfortable, like I say, to have the hands on the hip or the shoulder. And just checking in with the breath again. Is that still comfortable? Good. And then wherever your arm is, we're going to let that come back to your hip. Soften your front knee, slowly come back up, facing forwards. And we'll walk the feet together. Good, to about hip distance apart. Nice. And then just taking a moment, bringing the hands together. Just connecting with your breath. So feel the soles of the feet on the floor. And imagine that you're breathing through your feet. So as you breathe in, comes through the feet, up the legs, all the way up to the top of the head. And exhaling all the way back down. Good, one more breath. Good, release the arms down. We're going to soften the knees and just have a nice little loosen up before we come back down to the ground. So you can do this as gently or as strongly as you like. So keep the knees a little bit soft, and we're just going to let the arms swing. Nice and relaxed, slightly shifting the weight. And you can gradually let that get a little bit bigger. Obviously, just be mindful of your space. But just letting the weight of the arms go. So we feel a little bit of space in the shoulder joints. Getting that nice release in the back. Nice, and then slowing down. Good. Lovely. So before we come back down onto the floor, if there's anything that you need to get, then now's a good time while we're still on our feet. So if you need to go and grab a jumper or an extra blanket or something for your relaxation, do that. And then when you're ready, we're just going to stand towards the back of the mat. So we've got some space in front. Have your feet whatever distance apart feels comfortable. And we're going to do a slow roll down to the floor. So we get a little bit of release in the back of the body. So just letting the chin drop first. So we get that release in the back of the neck. And as you exhale, just slowly rolling through the spine, bending your knees so we can get release in the lower back. Just really taking your time and letting the weight of the arms go. We're going to bend the knees enough that your hands can touch the floor. And then walking the hands forward, bring the knees to the ground. If there's any last little wriggling or stretching you'd like to do on your hands and knees, then do feel free. Or you can come straight down into your relaxation. So typically we use Shavasana, but if you are more comfortable lying on your side, absolutely do that. Or if you would rather be sitting and getting support from a wall, whatever you need to really be comfortable and allow the body to completely relax. Good. So be as warm and cozy and luxuriously comfortable as you can. So just making any little minor adjustments you need to be comfortable. Having a scan through the body. So getting out those last little wriggles and niggles, so that we can get to a place where we're so comfortable there's just no desire to move. Take a nice deep breath in. And just let that go. And then from here we let go of the breath completely. So just allowing the body to take over the job of breathing. Just knowing that your body is perfectly capable of breathing without our instruction. So we can just let that go and simply observe the breath without controlling it. So following the breath on its journey in and out of the body. Just feeling the sensations and the movement of the inhale as the breath flows in through the nostrils, expanding the chest, the belly, just noticing what parts of the body move, where the breath goes. And then as the breath flows out, noticing those subtle movements in the body, feeling the sensation as it flows back out through the nostrils. Just allowing the breath to be however it is. And with each breath, feeling the body becoming more and more deeply relaxed. Feeling the weight of the body being fully supported by the ground, by the earth. With every exhale, dropping a little deeper. With every inhale, feeling the body is more nourished, more energized. Gently bring your awareness back into the whole body. Feeling the whole body lying on your mat. Just being aware of the contact with the floor. And just starting to wriggle your fingers and toes. And gently bringing a little bit of movement back into the body. Whatever it is you feel you need. Just taking 1 or 2 deeper breaths. And then when you feel ready, just gently roll to one side and open your eyes. Just being aware of the space around you. Just noticing the objects you can see. And then in your own time, coming back up to sitting, kneeling, whatever's comfortable for you. Have your legs however you like. Lovely. Just going to breathe in and let the hands float up, taking your palms together, touching our fingertips to our foreheads for right thoughts, to our lips for right words, to our hearts for right action. Om Shanti.